In this video, I'm going to talk about something that will improve your life dramatically, almost immediately. And I will say one thing about this that a lot of people think they already know, but I'm going to go deeper, and we're going to take a dive into things that people don't really understand. This one thing can affect your emotional intelligence in the way that this has a direct effect on your hormonal balance. When your hormones are out of whack, I guarantee your emotional regulation will be almost not there. And this is a very simple thing to do. And this will also open up your eyes to a lot of things in this world that most people aren't paying attention to. This alone will improve your mental, emotional, physical health, which will have a direct impact on your financial health, your social health, to a degree. You know, I'm not saying it's the end all be all. What I'm talking about is hydration. And I know a lot of you might be like, oh yeah, I know, I already know, I'm gonna just stay hydrated. But wait, before you just discard this video and think you already know about hydration, I'm gonna go into some things that you don't understand, because not all water is equal.
Not all water is equal.
There is mature water, there's immature water, and there is water that is alive, there's water that is sick. And a lot of people think water is water just because it comes out of the tap and it's deemed okay to drink, that water is water and we can drink it. But I challenge you to not just take my word for it, but do the research yourself. Let's start here. You can check what kind of contaminants are in your tap water supply if you Google your board of water regulations or their tests. Here in Hawaii, we have a board of water supply, and they have tests of what's in the tap water, and you can type in what city you are in, what city, what state, and they will say what kind of contaminants are in the tap water. A lot of people I know personally drink tap water, and also on the same token, I also know a lot of local people older than me who are developing cancer left and right, and a lot of people are surprised by it. You know, I know a lot of old school people as well think tap water is tap water, but they don't understand there is levels to this and depth to water. So there's a man named Viktor Schauberger. Viktor Schauberger, he was a Austrian forester, he was an inventor, and he was a philosopher. He pioneered amazing discoveries about water and was on the brink of inventing all kinds of things, including how to create generators by means of implosion, harnessing water and oxygen. And he says that water that is full of energy, life, and natural minerals, it's synonymous with a healthy life. It's synonymous with life in general. And he says bad water is synonymous with a sick, unhealthy life. He would even say that no water is synonymous with no life. So when it comes to water, what is referred to as healthy, lively, living water is water that has went through the cycle of Mother Nature's design of purifying it, not man's version of purifying it.
Mother Nature's design of purifying it, not man's version of purifying it.
However, Viktor Schauberger was inventing ways to mimic that process the way Mother Nature is able to do it, and mature the water to the point where it creates so much life and abundance. So these waters, you'd find it in springs or aquifers. These are pretty much the mature waters, and they go through a whole cycle and process of Mother Nature charging it with all nature's electromagnetic frequencies and minerals and it has a completely different quality to the water. This water is what creates an abundance of life. Most people are dehydrated even if they drink a lot of water. There's a lot of people who just drink bottled water, purified water, but they don't understand that it doesn't have the same effect because a lot of that water is immature water. Some of it is even dead. Some of it is bad water if they're just drinking from the tap. So I highly suggest that you don't just take my word for it. You go and do the research yourself. Viktor Schauberger, his name is right here. Or you can also find another person who does tons and tons of studying, who's a water advocate. Her name is Isabel Friend, and her name is spelled right here. Isabel Friend. She's on podcasts, but it's amazing. There's so many nuances to water. To go even further, there was a Japanese scientist by the name of Masaru Emoto, and he did a lot of water experiments trying to show us that water has a consciousness, that water is conscious and it's a living being. And how he would do this is he would say certain words or have certain emotions as they're focusing on certain jugs of water and freeze them. Every time he would freeze the water where it was positive emotions, the water would form perfect symmetrical crystals. The water that was focused with very erratic and negative emotions, the water was very unstructured. So this goes to my next thing. There is such thing as structured water. And this is what Viktor Schauberger would talk about as well. When water goes through nature's natural cycle, the twists and turns of the river, that's not a straight line like our pipes. When it goes through all the natural turns and the vortexes, especially when it vortexes, the water becomes structured. And this structure is like a beautiful geometry. And it does the same in our body. But when our body is able to hold this type of structured water, the hydration of our cells is more likely to occur. Hydration is so important. Most people, actually everyone in this day and age, is dehydrated, myself included. No matter how much water we drink, just because of the fact of the world we live in and all the toxic chemicals and the toxic load that we have, our hydration is not optimal. So one of the things I learned from world-renowned performance, holistic, and rehabilitative coach, Paul Chek, he says that we should be drinking at least roughly about half our body weight in pounds, the pounds number, but in ounces. So I am about 160 pounds. So that would be 50, 60, 70, 80. So that would be 80 ounces of water that I should be drinking just about every day. And this is like a rough general rule of thumb. There are going to be times when you need to drink more. Like let's say if you're dehydrated from a marathon or from fever and sickness or certain times like that, you're going to have to increase your water intake. But generally speaking, on a day-to-day basis, it's half your body weight pounds in ounces. So this is a tip that I know not a lot of people talk about, not a lot of people know, but I know this will benefit you in some way, shape, or form almost immediately, and I hope it helps you regulate every system of your body. There are billions and billions of biochemical reactions that happen in our body every single second. Every single second. That's how amazing this is. There is nothing here in this world that is alive
that is not dependent on water.
And if you go into the Bible, there's a lot about living water, but people don't understand what living water, there really is an actual thing called living water, and there's dead water, there's bad water, there's immature water. So what I've been doing is I get my water straight from an aquifer that is from Big Island. I sad to say, this is where it's come. This is what this world has come to be. We have to pay, I mean, unless you're fortunate and you live by a freshwater spring, I'm telling you, that's gold. And there are places here in the world where people are living by freshwater springs, and you are incredibly wealthy if you do. Ancient Hawaiians believe that if you had the fresh water, you were wealthy. Living water is life. Not just water is life, living water is life. I highly suggest that you find a freshwater spring and aquifer. If you can only find purified water, what I suggest is researching how to structure your water. There are different things you can do to structure your water. The woman Isabel Friend, she has a website called waterislife.shop and waterislife.academy. So the shop sells different things like water structuring devices, filters, shower filters, purifiers. When I looked up the tap water supply here in my city, and this is like a beautiful place. I live in a beautiful place in Hawaii, and I used to think, oh, the tap water here is gold, you know? I looked up the studies and the data from the Board of Water Supply. There are trace contaminants, and next to the trace contaminants, they all say cancer causing. Like it says it on the Board of Water Supply data sheet. Cancer causing, cancer causing, cancer causing. And people are bathing in this, drinking in this every single day. So this is what we need to understand. This is what the world has come to. We've come to a place where the world is so toxic that we think it's normal and we think that's just the way it is. But we don't understand how all that toxicity, when it's in our unconscious and we're ignorant to it, it really debilitates our development. It debilitates our physical development, our spiritual development, our mental and emotional development. So being on top of the water you drink is gonna change your life. I'm telling you, it's gonna change your life. And again, about where we're at in this world, in this time, it costs money just to drink pure water, pure lively water. Again, unless you're fortunate and you were smart and you moved near a spring that not a lot of people know about, a free spring. There are free springs out there, and here's another resource. Findthespring.com. Findthespring.com, and it'll show you where there are natural springs nearby for you to go and collect and harvest your own water. What is crazy is that here on Oahu, on that website, it says there is only one place, and it says it's in between 2 yards of some property. And I actually drove down there one day, and it was like, I couldn't even see no spring. It's like, is it just coming out of the grass, or is it in the backyard? But anyway, it wasn't for public access. And there is one freshwater spring here on Oahu that has been completely, permanently protected by our state, which is beautiful. It's where is it? It's on the east side, southeast side, Hawaii Kai. It's in the Hawaii Kai side. Kanevai. It's the Kanevai spring. but that's not for people to go and just harvest water. It's more for educational purposes, and they just steward that land and make sure that spring stays clean and pristine, and they steward it just so people understand. I think it's more of an educational thing now, and they have like, you know, field trips for kids there. I think tourists can go there to just learn, but other than that, it's pretty hole in the wall. People don't really understand or know about it. I'm sure there are springs, probably backcountry, probably deep in the Ko'olaus. I'm sure there's probably some springs, but I don't think it's not public, and people don't really know about them. But spring water is going to be one of it's the best water you can get, or artesian water, which is basically spring water that hasn't come up naturally yet, and they drill a well into the aquifer. But those artesian waters, Big Island has a lot more, and that's where I'm getting my water from. My water comes from Mauna Loa, and I'm drinking water from Mauna Loa. And it's kind of beautiful because when I started drinking that water, I started having so much like intuitive impressions just about nature, about God, about life in general. And a lot of the inflammation started going away even more, and I felt just way more vibrant. So the water that you drink has a direct effect on your health and the quality of thoughts you have, and yeah, it affects your life in so many ways. I truly suggest you go and do the research yourself and not just take my word for it. Again, as far as staying hydrated, general rule of thumb is drinking at least half your body weight pounds in ounces. So again, I said I'm 160 pounds. That's about 80 ounces that I drink daily, give and take. Anyway, I hope this video really excels your life and elevates you spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. And I hope you just live your best life and contribute to this planet in the best way possible. If you have any testimonies or if you have any experiences, put your comment down below. Also, another thing I wanted to say is you might want to try to avoid plastic bottled spring water if you can. The reason I chose this brand, it's Hawaii Volcanic. Oh gosh, there. Hawaii Volcanic water. It's because they put it straight in a crystal glass bottle, and I thought that was genius. If you guys don't know, which is super old news, is that plastic bottles leach plastic chemicals into the water. Also, I did my own testing because I am just like that. I have a pH tester. I tested the pH of this glass water, and it was straight 8.5 alkaline. And I was just so impressed. I was just like, wow. And then I have a plastic bottle of theirs as well. The plastic bottle was 7.0. It was just borderline alkaline, almost not even alkaline. It might have been just below alkaline because it goes by color, and by the color grade, it was like very like right there. So give it a try. What do you have to lose? You know, I thought about the money. I was thinking about the money because before this, I was very anal about where I get my water still, but not really understanding that even purified water isn't water that's alive or mature. So I was doing the purified water from the purified water stations, and there's like, the 5-step purification process. But what I learned was that it's not mature. And so the way Isabel Fran describes it is that when water is immature and you drink it, So even, for example, distilled water, and this has already been proven scientifically, drinking distilled water, which would be immature water, it takes from you like a child. Like a child just takes to learn. Whereas a mature water full of life and full of energy, mature water, when you drink, it gives you minerals, gives you life, gives you energy, gives you mana, chi. So take that into consideration. These are tweaks that not a lot of people know, except for probably like the top echelon of athletes. Not a lot of people know, and people who are just super hippy dippy deep on this journey of understanding Mother Nature, how she works, and how we can align and live in sync. But this will take your work to the next level. This will take everything to the next level. I guarantee it. And so when I started paying for this water, I was like, gosh, that's a lot more than what I was paying for purified water. But the way I look at it is that it's an investment in my own life. It's really an investment, truly. And it's truly a privilege too. Again, it's a privilege to be able to drink this kind of water. And sad to say that that's what this world has come to. There's a lot I have on my heart as far as water in the future and what I will be doing to contribute in this world. But until then, it's just a dream. But I really am working to get there. Anyway, I hope you guys love this video. I hope you guys really got something good. I tried to make it action-packed and potent and just something that'll, boom, elevate your life pretty immediately. Anyway, love you guys. Peace. See you in the next video.